Hello, Durud and Shalom. How's everyone doing? Guys, I see the chat is already busy, so make sure you like the stream so that more people end up seeing this. Netanyahu's son, Yair Netanyahu. Am I pronouncing his name right? Is that correct? Yair. Yes, Yair Netanyahu. He just posted something on X or Twitter, and it's a disaster. It's absolutely a disaster, and it's a huge threat to the bond that is being created right now between the Iranian people and the Israeli people. So we need to address it. And I'm actually really happy that I addressed this before it even happened a couple of weeks ago. Preparing for something like this happening on the Persian channel, I was getting the Iranian people ready for something like this happening. And again, that investment is paying off because the Islamic Republic is going to use this. The Islamic Republic is going to use this. So Netanyahu's son just gave a huge win to the Islamic Republic. So let's actually read the tweet. I'll bring it up. Oh, D, hi D. Oh, the chat is busy. Yuav is here. Sam is here. Jewish Samantha is here. Fantastic. Ali, Nikki, everyone is here. Okay, good. That's good. All right, let's actually look at the tweet and see what he said. Yeah, so yeah, okay, let's look at it. Hold on. All right, let me actually remove the banner so that everybody could look at it together. Let me put the chat here. So he says the Kurds are the largest stateless people in the world with a population of around 45 million. Yes. With the population of around 45 million. They are secular and allies of the West. Their territory is divided and occupied by Turkey, Iran, Iraq, and Syria. Why haven't France, Spain, Ireland, the UK, Norway, Portugal, Canada, Germany, Malta, and Slovenia recognized Kurdistan? I think these are the countries who are recognizing Palestine as a country. That's what he's listing. So, guys, why? I hope you guys understand. And also, this is a flag of the never will be state of Kurdistan. Hopefully, yes. So, why do you? I hope you guys understand. At least on this channel, our followers understand why this was a huge disaster, and especially now of all times, this post should not have been made. Do you guys understand that? Yeah, so Neil Bunny is saying maybe he was trying to make a point about the hypocrisy of those countries recognizing Palestine. No, Neil Bunny, because I followed him. Like, he has made similar posts years ago. That's his actual view. This is not just him saying something ridiculous just to make a point. He actually believes that, and again, that's not a really good way to make a point. Oh, Mortal Wombat, is that you? Your amazing username is not showing up anymore. Is that you, Mortal Wombat? Well, thank you so much. Should I call you Alpa from now on? Alpa, thank you so much for the gifting 5 memberships of the people in the chat. Guys, I will read anybody gifting memberships, anybody becoming a member, or anybody using super chats. I will be reading that. Yeah, exactly. Sam saying he supports Kurdistan for years. I mean, Kurdistan as a country, yeah, that's a horrible. Yeah, exactly. D understands exactly what the problem with this is. We need unity right now. This is a huge attack on the Iranian people. I mean, if anybody understands the Iranian patriots, if there's one thing that they consider sacred, is the border integrity of Iran. And also, guys, I hope people understand that Kurdistan should never be a country. Like, the borders are good the way they are. Like, if you think that you're being somebody that is supporting people's rights because you're supporting an independent Kurdistan, I hope you understand that is not a good way to support the Kurdish people against oppression. You're attacking the already established rights of the people of 4 countries by doing that. And this is not at all anything like Israel becoming a country, because there are some people in Israel who think like, hey, Jews were being oppressed, we got a country, Kurds are being oppressed, they should get a country too. That is not how any of this works. Israel got a country in an area where there was no country. We went from the Ottoman Empire to no Ottoman Empire in an area where no country that belonged to no country, it belonged to the Ottoman Empire, and the Ottoman Empire was no more. And it made sense because there was no country there, it made absolute sense for why you could now turn it into a country. You weren't when you made Israel, you weren't taking away anyone's country. You weren't cutting in to the borders. You weren't challenging the border integrity of any nation state. So it's not at all comparable. So let me see. Angry Keyboard Warrior saying, thank you so much, Angry Keyboard Warrior saying, Israel built relationships with the Kurds since the 1960s. I mean, guys, having a relationship with the Kurds is a good thing. Having a relationship with Kurdish separatists is a bad thing. Please understand that we're not anti-Kurdish here. In fact, we Iranians are proud of our Kurdish community, especially because our Kurdish community is Iranian first, Kurdish second, and most Iranian Kurds are in favor of maintaining Iran's border integrity. And just because, the Kurds are wrong, that doesn't mean that you should be wronging the rights of citizens of another country just because Kurds were wrong to fix that. There are other ways. You could give them a better country. You could make them, the country that they're in, respect their rights more instead of just cutting into borders. Cessation is usually not a good idea unless there's an agreement between all the people in a country, not just the people who want to secede, or if there is a real genocide or some other. There's 3 conditions, but none of those are met here. It will cause a bloodbath if you actually try to secede basically challenge the border of integrity of Iran in any way. Yeah, I mean, Syria doesn't have the sense of nationalism as much as the Iranian people, and historically it hasn't been unified like the Iran has. So I don't know what's going to happen in Syria. But again, Syria, the issue of Syria, we don't have Assad there anymore. I'm not going to talk about Syria. Let me focus on Iran, because there's 90 million people here, right? And Israel needs to focus on the long-term investment here. So historically, Israel has been investing in the MEK and Kurdish separatists to maybe push back against the Islamic Republic and some of its other interests in the region. And I understand that Israel needs to focus on its survival more than anything else. Obviously, that's what Israel needs to do. Israel's government is it's unreasonable to ask the Israeli government to put the wants of Iranian people ahead of its own survival. I understand that, right? The right to life comes before anything else. I understand that. However, Israel as a country, as the government of Israel, has come to the right conclusion that now they have a better option against the Islamic Republic, which is the Iranian patriots. And because back then, when they were supporting the Kurdish separatists and the MK, there wasn't really that many other options against the Islamic Republic. But now the Islamic Republic, now Israel has a much better option against the Islamic Republic, which is the revolutionary, patriotic Iranians, mostly united under the leadership of Reza Pahlavi. And that option exists. So that's why you don't need to be working with the MEK or Kurdish separatists or Azeri separatists or anyone else that is separatist or anyone else at all. Because if you think about it, let me actually tell you about the long-term investment and the short-term investment, okay? So you might think as an Israeli that it makes absolute sense for us to just use anyone that is against the Islamic Republic. If the Kurdish separatists are against the Islamic Republic, let's use them. If the MEK is against the Islamic Republic, let's use them. Okay? But that's very short-sighted. Why that is very short-sighted? Because Iran and the Iranian people are not going to go away. The short-term plan should be to get rid of the Islamic Republic. But the long-term plan is to have a country in the Middle East that is friendly to Israel and the Israeli people. And there's no faster way for you to lose that friendship than challenging the border integrity of Iran. If you want the Iranian people to be on your side, this is the thing that they care about the most. This is their red line. Because what's going to happen after the Islamic Republic? Let's say that you unite with some other force, because the Iranian people hate the MEK. The Iranian people hate the cessationists. If you invest in them to get rid of the Islamic Republic, then you are losing a huge potential of having a strong, united, secular, democratic country that is an ally of Israel in the Middle East. What a major lost opportunity will that be? So, I know, by the way, guys, I know people are saying, somebody's shouting in the chat, Yair Netanyahu does not represent Israeli. We hate him. I understand that. And guys, let me tell you, this is what I have been saying on the Persian channel right before I came here live on air. So I'm trying to do damage control because he doesn't represent the government. He has the name Netanyahu. He has a huge following on social media. That post has gotten a lot of interaction. Many, if you go look into the comment section, many of them Iranians hating on them. But I have gone to the Persian on our Persian channel. If you go like 1 hour before I come live here, like 2 hours before I go live here, I go live on our Persian channel, and I explain to Iranians that this obviously does not represent Israel. This does not represent the Israeli people. This guy is hated over there. He has no influence over government policies. This does not represent government policies. Obviously, Israel is a diverse country. Obviously, there's many different opinions in Israel. And it's not fair for us to paint all of Israel with the same brush. And the example I give is, imagine if somebody is anti-Iranian people or anti-Iran because we have Khamenei. That doesn't make any sense. Like, we have worse. You guys are upset with Yair Netanyahu. Do you guys understand that on Iran we have worse people than him? Like, we have MEK, we have the separatists, we have the leftists, we have the communists, we have the Islamists. Does it make you? We have been going around to telling the world that they shouldn't be anti-Iran just because we have these Islamists or these Marxists. So given that we are asking the world not to hate all Iran and Iranian people because we have certain horrible views inside Iran, how hypocritical would it be of us to now all of a sudden be like, oh, well, there you go. Israel is there. Look, we cannot trust Israel anymore, because that's what some people were saying at the beginning. I see we got a super chat. I will respond to that. Because unfortunately, guys, people need to be told that. This is why I need to make this live stream, because I knew I need to make a show, because the Islamic Republic is going to take this, and I know they do, because they have done this. So, for example, you guys have some rabbis in Israel that say that all one day at the end of times, all non-Jews will become the slave of Jews. The Islamic Republic takes that and tries to show it to the Iranian people to try to act like this is the views of Israel's and Israeli people, right? So every single time there's somebody in Israel that supports cessation, the Islamic Republic loves that. They go and take that, and they comment like, hey guys, look, Israel, please don't be friends with Israel. Israel is not just against the Islamic Republic. Israel is against Iran. And I try to, and it works on some people, because guys, people do not think about these things in detail. And we need to go tell them. We need to actually go tell them, like, educate them that, look, Israel is a very diverse. Obviously, it's a very like I was in Israel. I On the Persian channel, I tell them in Israel, every time I talk to two people, I got 5 different opinions. But and also I told them that ever since you guys have been supporting Israel, like, more Israeli people have fallen in love with you guys. And because Israel has been, more Israelis are getting closer and closer to Iranian people, and because Israel is a democracy, Israel's policies are shifting more towards supporting the Iranian patriots against the Islamic Republic, not the MEK, not the secessionists. And I say this actually shows that you should be supporting Israel even more, because it has been the result of your support for Israel that more Israelis have noticed that you are not like the government. And if you want this small support for cessation, the small support in Israel for Kurdish separatists or Azeri separatists, if you want that to get even smaller, then you should invest in the bridge between Iran and Israel even more, because it's the building of this bridge that has shifted more Israelis towards you guys. That, and also Reza Pahlavi's trip to Israel. So if you want to see less of what Yair Netanyahu is posting and more Israelis supporting you and Reza Pahlavi, and a strong, united Iran, a strong, prosperous, united Iran, a free, democratic, secular Iran that is an ally of Israel. Because I tell them on the Persian channel that on the English channel, I noticed that most Israelis, they want that. They don't want to see Iran destroyed just to get rid of the Islamic Republic. They want to see Iran free. That's what I explain on the Persian channel. But on the English channel, because I know I have a decent Israeli audience here, I also want to encourage you guys to know the arguments against Kurdish separatism. And again, being against Kurdish separatism is not being anti-Kurdish. Please understand that. It's only being against Kurdish separatism. It's just the recognition of messing with the borders in the Middle East is not good for anybody. It will cause years, decades of chaos and bloodbath. And I also mentioned on the Persian channel that, guys, unlike what the rest of the world says about Israel, Israel prefers peace. Israel is not a warmongering country. Every time Israel entered into war was forced upon Israel, and Israel was just responding. Israel wants peace more than other countries in the Middle East, because actually Israel wants peace more than any other country, because no other country is threatened with annihilation more than Israel. And when you are threatened this much with annihilation, chaos is not good. It increases the chances of one of them one day getting their way. So Israel obviously prefers peace more than any other country. However, Israel has also learned from its history that the way you get long-lasting peace is not by appeasement, is not by signing agreements, is not by ceasefires exactly when you are about to defeat your enemy. Long-lasting peace comes from destroying anybody who means your people harm. Israel, through its history, if you see Israel right now being involved in many different wars and fighting on so many different fronts, it's not because they want war, it's because they want peace. And with experience, they have learned that long-lasting peace comes by crushing your enemies. And given that Israel wants peace, Israel obviously would choose supporting the Iranian nationalists and the patriots instead of the secessionists against the Islamic Republic, because secession will bring more chaos in the region. It's actually the worst. The people who will be suffering the most from a Kurdish separatist movement are the Kurds themselves, because they, and also the Turks, the Azeris, because they don't even agree. If you want an Azerbaijan cut from Iran or a Kurdistan cut from Iran, you know you're going to have internal war between the Azeris and Kurds as well. Do you know you're going to have internal wars with the Kurds as well? Do you know who has killed more Kurds in battle in Iran? Kurds against Kurds, Kurdish separatists against Kurdish separatists. And this is even before they even get a chance to secede. You're going to have so many years of conflict over borders, and conflict is not good for anybody in the region. Conflict is the worst for Kurdish people, and secondly, to the Iranian people, and thirdly, to Israel, because more chaos means more threats to Israel. Israel's goal is to one day get to a Middle East with less war, where there's peace, where we have even if you don't get full peace, when you have a strong ally, which is the Iran, using its intelligence, using its newly founded Savak and its secular, non-political Artesh to unite with the IDF and Mossad to find the terrorists in the region and remove the mutual friends to both Iran and Israel at the same time. Wouldn't that be a good thing? That's what we want. We don't want. So look, think about what happens if you actually support the secessionists instead, the Azeri and Kurdish secessionists. You will lose your main ally in the region, which is the Iranian people. And obviously Israel is smarter than that. And secondly, even if that ever becomes successful, even without the Islamic Republic, you will have decades and decades of infighting and chaos in the region, which is not good for Israel. And guys, this is not the decision of the Kurdish people. This is the decision of all. So you have to understand, given that the current laws that we have, Kurdistan in Iran, the Kurdistan province in Iran, does not belong to the Kurdish people. It belongs to all Iranians, including the Kurdish people. Just like Khuzestan belongs to the Kurds, not just the Arabs, and Kurdistan belongs to the Persians and the Kurds and the Gileks and the Azeris and the Arabs and the Baluchis, because it's part of the country. So it's not their choice. It's everyone's choice. It's the entire country. It belongs to the entire country. It doesn't belong to the people who just live there. Let me see. I got a super chat by Yuav. I think, am I reading your name right? Like, I know, like, we don't see names anymore. Yabs. I'm going to call you Yabs from now. Israeli, be my witness. Israelis, be my witness. We called Yair Dick Boy. Yelled Zayn. He was sued by the for defamation, I think you mean, by defamation countless time, and he's a donkey. Okay, please do not insult donkeys. Okay, donkeys are beautiful animals, and they're very smart, and they're very emotional. I love donkeys. But yes, point taken. And I made that point on the Persian channel. Because I'm glad that I told you guys about the stream today on yesterday's streams, at the end of the yesterday's stream, because a lot of you told me how much the guy is hated in Israel. So I had that as one of my arguments for why the people who were watching me from Iran, I told them that how much he's hated in Israel, and that was good to know. That was good to know. It helped. It helped. Let me see some of your comments. I start before. Someone was saying, how can he betray the Iranian people? His son's not even in office. Bibi is a great friend to the Iranian people. Yeah, I mean, obviously, on the Persian side, I separated him from his father, but you have to understand, I needed to do this because just because he shares his father's name, like some people think like he must have access, because in Iran, if you're the son of somebody important, you're also very important and you have influence, right? And you probably have some influence in the government. And I'm glad that on the Persian channel, I noticed there were some people in the chat that assumed that this must be the case in Israel. I mean, many people know better than that, and many people don't. And I told them, like, no, this is not how it is in Israel. The guy is in the US, he's not even in Israel. So I needed to make sure that I mentioned that on the Persian channel. And Barbara is saying Netanyahu's son is a low life. He's very unpopular in Israel. He lives a good life in Miami and didn't come to home to fight for Israel after the October 7th. Is that true? Okay. And somebody said he is not a son of a king and he is known to have a big mouth. He doesn't even live in Israel. Yes, I mentioned that on the Persian channel. Yeah, he's just a brat. No one cares what he says. He represents no one. Okay, but a lot of people care what he says. He shares his father's last name, and that is used. That makes a lot of people pay attention, and that is a huge win for the Islamic Republic. I mean, guys, our channels are small. The Islamic Republic has a lot more access to the Iranian people than we do, and they are going to definitely invest on this. I mean, even some people who love Israel were coming to me and be like, Armin, what is this? Can we not trust Israel anymore? I was like, are you I had to explain to them, like, can you listen to yourself? Like, do you understand that if Israelis were judging us in the same way, we have Khamenei on our side, not on our side, like as an Iranian, and they're like, oh my God, you're right. That's not fair. But it had to be said. And again, even if I'm saying it, a lot of other people are not going to hear me, obviously. And that's why this is such a huge win for the Islamic Republic. The Islamic Republic loves the cessationists because a lot of people think like the Islamic Republic is afraid of the cessationists who are challenging the border integrity of Iran. No, the Islamic Republic loves them because every time there's more support for the toppling of the regime, the Islamic Republic scares the Iranian people by telling them, you might hate me, but I know you hate Iran being cut into pieces more than you hate me. So you have to support me because without me, Iran will be cut into pieces. So you have no choice but to support me. It's like an abusive boyfriend. You're like, hey, I might be bad to you. I might beat you. But without me, nobody would take care of you. You're nothing without me. This is what the Islamic Republic tells the Iranian people, that there will be no Iran without me. Even as bad as I am, as brutal as I am, without me, Iran would be cut into pieces. And these Israelis that you guys love, they actually are supporting the cessationists. They don't want to just destroy me. They want to destroy Iran. And every time, this is the propaganda of Islam. The main propaganda of the Islamic Republic against it being toppled, because it can't tell people that I brought you safety, that I brought you prosperity. It used to say, hey, I didn't bring you prosperity, but at least I brought you safety. Now it can't even say that. So now it says, hey, now the argument is like, okay, you have no prosperity, you have no safety, but at least Iran is intact. the borders are where they are at, and with me gone, the people that you're supporting, these Israelis, they actually want to cut it into pieces. So which one do you choose between the two evils? The evil of the Islamic Republic or the evil of seeing the border integrity of Iran challenged? And if it's presented like that, many Iranian people would have chosen the Islamic Republic. However, they're now smarter to understand that the border integrity of Iran is challenged mostly under the Islamic Republic, because our border integrity is now being challenged under the Islamic Republic. So that argument actually doesn't even work unless they get Yair Netanyahu coming here and posting shit like that, which they could use for their propaganda. Somebody saying Israel is not your babysitter. That's such a bullshit argument. Nobody is making that point. Nobody's making that point. We have mutual interest here. Obviously, like you're such an idiot because you don't even know what my arguments are. If you actually listen to me, I understand that Israel needs to prioritize its own survival more than anything else. But what I am suggesting, what I am showing to you, what I'm demonstrating is our interests are mutual. Like they're completely aligned. Because the best force against the Islamic Republic are the Iranian nationalists, so you don't want to move against them. It's stronger than the cessationists are not that very strong against the Islamic Republic. The MEK is not very strong against the Islamic Republic. Is the movement, is the nationalist Iranians behind Reza Pahlavi that is the main force against the Islamic Republic. So they are your allies. If you want to unite with any group against the Islamic Republic, those are the ones that you need to be with. And again, this is not for the sake of just benefiting the Iranian people. This is for Israeli people finding the strongest force against the Islamic Republic. 1. 2, the issue is not just the Islamic Republic. The issue is the Islamic Republic, Iran after the Islamic Republic. And it benefits the Israeli people to have Israelis, to have Iranians maintain the positive view that they have right now towards Israel, because you want a friendly country. And 3, you don't want to give such huge wins to the Islamic Republic. By supporting cessationism, you're basically doing Islamic Republic's propaganda for them, giving them more ammunition to tell the Iranian people, I told you so, that our enemies are your enemies, that the enemies of Islamic Republic are also the enemies of Iran. And these people, the people that you think are your friends, are actually your enemies. The Islamic Republic is justifiably terrified of the idea that Iranian people would have a positive view towards Israel, because its survival depends on that not happening. The unity between Iranian people and Israeli people is the key to solve most of the problems in the Middle East. We are team life in the midst of the sea of death, this cult of death. We see eye to eye. We have similar goals. We're anti-Islamism. We're secular. We want democracy. We have similar values. So you don't want to destroy this bond. The potential, the opportunities are huge if you, not just for Iranian people, but for Israeli people, to have a strong, prosperous Iran as an ally in the region for them. It would be the end of Israelis wondering if Israel would ever be annihilated or not. No, there would be no more threats to Israel. Nothing like October 7th would ever be possible again, because the main funder of October 7th would be gone. Nothing like October 7th would ever be possible again without the Islamic Republic, or without a country, without a government there that is hostile to Israel. So you don't want to just get rid of Islamic Republic. You want to have a friendly country there. And the best way to do that is to respect the wish of the Iranian people. This is 90 million people there. Let me actually highlight this. Ali was mentioning, I'm Israel Kai from Iran. Love all my Israeli friends. Some idiot can't ruin our friendship. We love you, Israel. Long live Iran. Long live Pahlavi. Long live Israel. This is a message from Iran for you guys. Let me see what else you guys are saying. Yeah, Nick was saying, yeah, he's just a brat. No one cares what he says. Oh, okay, I read that. Somebody said, as an Israeli, I see Persians as more of a friend than most non-Israeli Jews. Somebody then said, as an Iranian, I hate Netanyahu and his family, but I love Jews. Well, I don't hate Netanyahu as an Iranian myself. And this Nick said, as an American, I have no comment. Everybody's saying as this, as that. And then Yov saying, as an Israeli, Bibi has to go. 13 years is respectable, but we need a change. Don't worry, Iranians. I mean, I don't think it's fair to blame Benjamin Netanyahu for what his son has said. And honestly, I don't think it's a good idea to let Bibi go in the middle of a war right now. I'm not sure though. You decide. It's your country. But he's doing. I mean, guys, if you don't, I don't know if you guys don't like Netanyahu. Honestly, he's doing really good eliminating your. I know you have other issues with him regarding, liberalism, regarding his corruption cases or whatever. But his performance since October 7th has been really good. I know a lot of you disagree with me on that, but you guys have lost more enemies in less than 2 years than you ever have in your history. That is crazy, amazing performance. Some of you are saying like, oh, why the war is still happening in Gaza? And I think that's because you don't understand the nature of Hamas and how difficult it is. I mean, so many of your enemies have been eliminated, and you're just upset that all of Hamas hasn't been completely eradicated, which is an unreasonable ask. I think he has done really good ever since. I mean, I have a lot of criticism for him before October 7th, but since October 7th, he has been amazing. If I was Israeli, I would be proud. I was like, holy shit, man. That's amazing. Nobody has done more to decapitate our enemies more than this guy. Yeah, FLP. It's very difficult to get rid of Hamas completely. So I wouldn't blame. I mean, given that how many of your main enemies have been destroyed, that seems like an. So somebody is saying Israel's image has fallen very badly among neutral countries. It's a price that you have to pay for survival. Israel's image falls every time you do what you need to do to eliminate the people that wish you harm. And then it gets recovered again because Israel is too good at commerce, technology, and everything else, and it will get recovered. Here's the thing, guys: do what you need to do to get rid of your enemies, even though your image will fall because of it significantly in many countries. But the sooner you get to the point where you have gotten rid of most of your threats, the sooner you will get to a point where this much war is not needed, and then just give it 5 years of peacetime, and you will go back to where you were before. Especially because you should care more about right now, you should care more about your relationship with the United States and countries in the region. So think about this. Let's say France has a negative view towards you now. Let's say tomorrow, we live in a world where French people, Irish people, Spanish people have more of a negative view towards you than before. But now we have an Iran with a government that is friendly to you, and Iranian people are friendly to you. We get to a point where you have more normal relationships with more countries in the region. I think you doing a cost-benefit analysis, the benefits outweigh the cost. Yeah, exactly. Somebody saying survival is more important than being liked. And also, even being liked, you need to be liked by governments in the region more than in Europe. Because what is France going to do? Is France going to attack you? Is France going to come bomb Israel? No, but if Iran has a friendly relationship with Israel, that's an elimination of a threat, of a major threat. So do what you need to do to get to that point. That's more important. France attack it. Exactly. What are they going to do? What are they going to do? They're going to be like, oh, we're going to recognize Palestine as a country. Okay. Do more settlements. Build more in the West Bank. Let's see. What are they going to do about it? They're going to come make Palestine into a country with what? They're going to send an army? What are they going to do about it? Let them sign their pieces of paper. Oh, Sam, thank you. Saying today is remembrance for second Jerusalem fall. Oh, wow, really? No, that was the destruction of the temple that Cyrus the Great partially funded. The second Jerusalem fall, that temple was funded by Cyrus the Great. The building, did you guys know that? You guys knew that, right? That temple was partially funded by Cyrus the Great. So yeah, it's interesting because Cyrus the Great didn't just free the Jews. He wasn't like, oh, you could go back to Jerusalem. He was like, no. I'm going to come help you rebuild your temple. Which is more than a lot of people think Cyrus the Great only just freed the Jews. And he didn't just free the Jews. He helped them rebuild. Oh, we got a super chat from Knows Too Much saying, no need to blow out of proportion every little thing an Israeli says. He doesn't live in Israel and has no say. Comparing Palestine to Kurdish is bad. Palestine to Kurdish is bad. I don't know what you're talking about. Guys, do you understand the second point? Because first of all, I'm not blowing it out of proportion. This is a big deal. You just don't understand how propaganda works and how these things spreads on media, and how anti-Israelis and people who are supporting Islamic Republic use this, and what is the effect of this. Like, what do you think I'm going to do with my channel? Do you think I can blow it out of proportion? This will be blown out of. I'm doing the opposite of what you're suggesting. I mean, I don't know if this is, unless you're not directing this at me. Okay, I don't know if you're directing this at me, or you're just making a general comment. But if it is directed at me, let me make this point. This is being blown out of proportion. I am trying to stop it from being blown out of proportion. That's what I'm doing. I'm doing the opposite of what you're saying. I am going on the Persian channel explaining that this guy is a nobody. Don't pay attention to his last name. Most Israelis want a free, prosperous, united Iran. So I am trying to actually, this is a huge win for the Islamic Republic. The Islamic Republic uses content like this for its propaganda, and it works on some people, works on too many people, unfortunately. And I'm trying to make it not get blown out of proportion. That's what I'm trying to do. So I agree with you, and that's what I'm doing. But it is also important that we use this as an opportunity to tell Israelis who might have sympathy with Kurdish separatist movements why that's a bad idea, so that we get less Israelis having that opinion. Yeah, okay. I've got another super chat, but I'm going to start this as well because that's a good one. Let me see. We got another super chat from Knows Too Much saying, so-called Palestinians are 1960s invention. It's not an ethnos, but an ideology. Palestinian equals genocidal pan-Arabic Islamist imperialism and jihad versus Israel. It is evil and has no right to anything. Yeah, so Palestinianism, I agree with you. I don't think Palestinianism has anything to do with Arab. As you mentioned, it has nothing to do with ethnicity. I think Palestinianism is Palestine is just a name, not of a people, not of a nation, not of a country. It shouldn't even be a name of a place. Palestine is a name for a terrorist anti-Israeli movement, and I do agree that it shouldn't be a thing. That's why if I'm paying attention, I prefer to the people there as the people of Gaza or the people of West Bank. I do not refer to them as Palestinian. So I agree with you. I do not refer to them as Palestinian because Palestinian, the flag of Palestine and the name Palestine just represents a terrorist movement against Israel. Those people are Arab. They're not Palestinian. And they could have been Israeli if many of them were not this radical. So it's Gazans and West Bankers. Bankers, that doesn't sound right. Yusuf is saying. Sometimes I call them so-called Palestinians. Oh, like you did, for example. Palestine is before it became a terrorist brand, it was an imperialist, Roman imperialist brand against the Jews, which is so ironic that the leftist so-called anti-imperialists refer to this land as Palestine, which is an imperialist, Roman imperialist name, foreign to that land, given as a name to the people who don't even have the P sound, and are forced to call it Palestine instead of Palestine because they don't have a P sound in their alphabet, against Israel, which is historically been an anti-imperialist force, and even today it's more of an anti-imperialist force because it's also a nation state, and the concept of a nation state is an anti-imperialist concept. But even before now, historically, Israel has been anti-Roman Empire, and today Israel is anti-pan-Arabist empire. Was originally Israel's in the early years was anti-pan-Arabist imperialism, and today Israel is anti-Islamic imperialism. So the so-called leftist anti-imperialists are backing an imperial name, which is Palestine, which is a Roman imperial, a Roman name, and they're also supporting an Islamic movement, which is also an imperialist force, against Israel, which is an anti-imperialist force. Yeah, the Romans used the Palestine to refer to this place because they didn't like the Jews, so they wanted to change the Jewish name Israel to Palestine. And I think like the Romans are responsible for the world hating on the Jews because they started it. And let me read this one. NC Rock is saying Israel supporting Kurdish separatists means losing possible future support of Iranian and Turkish nationalists, and Kurds are a small minority in both countries. Okay, but Kurds are important. Kurds are really dear. We care about our Kurdish population. The Kurdish separatists are a small population, small percentage of our Kurdish population, and most Iranian Kurds hate Kurdish separatists. So please, like, I did agree with most of what you said, but the bottom part, the ending, I just wanted to mention that we value our Kurdish population, and what we want for our Kurdish population is an Iran, is a secular democratic Iran that respects the rights of all of its citizens, to the point that the Kurds wouldn't need to think about, even the small percentage of the Kurdish separatists that we have never have to think about separatism, because they're enjoying equal rights like all other Iranians in their new country. Okay. All right, guys. I'm going to go get ready for my guys. First of all, make sure you subscribe here. We discuss Middle Eastern geopolitics and religion, focusing on Islam, and also sometimes we focus on the toxic leftist, Marxist, and woke ideas on this channel. But we focus mostly around the Middle East, where we focus on the wars, on the culture, on the religious, on the radicalism. So make sure you subscribe if you're new here. Make sure you hit the bell notification. Make sure you like the stream so that more people end up seeing it, and leave a comment after the show is over. I am going to go on my personal channel. Oh, guys, you guys gonna like the topic I have on the personal channel. So my personal channel is called Armin Navabi. If you search for it, it will show up. And on that channel, we talk about how we use AI and technology to improve everything in our lives. And this today, which is going to start in about half an hour, I'm going to go live on my personal channel. And guess what the topic is going to be? How to get a girlfriend using AI. So a lot of people ask me, again, that channel is just not about politics or religion. That channel is more about how to use AI and technology to improve our lives in areas of health, wealth, and love. So a lot of people saw that I made shows about health and wealth. So we're like, Armin, when are you going to make a love related show? And I asked them, do you guys want to focus on how to improve your relationship with your loved ones, with your wife, with your girlfriend, or how to get a girlfriend? And most people said, okay, we don't have a girlfriend. Make a show regarding how we could use AI to get a girlfriend. So most people said that. So that's what I'm doing. And guys, it's a really good show, because I promise you, if you do what I say in that show, if you don't have a girlfriend, if you're struggling with that, you're going to get a girlfriend. Okay. We're getting another super chat, so let's respond to that. Knows too much is saying most pan-Arabic Palestinians occupying Israel are invaders and migrants who come from neighboring lands and farther places in recent centuries. Well, let me see. Most pan-Arabist Palestinians occupying Israel are invaders and migrants. Okay, I don't. First of all, the pan-Arabist movement has been defeated a long time ago. Right now, we don't have to worry about pan-Arabism. Right now, we have to worry about Islamism. The pan-Arabist cause has been eliminated by Israel. Thank you very much. Right, which was a Nazi-like racial supremacist movement that Israel removed from the world for the sake of humanity and the rest of the world. Thank you so much. So now we're focusing on Islamism, and I'm hoping that Israel will be as successful at removing that toxic force, as successfully as it removed the pan-Arabist one. But pan-Arabism is not something we need to worry about anymore. Thank you so much. By the way, thank you, Israel. And regarding people being invaders or migrants, I don't judge people based on where their ancestors came from. I judge people based on what they're doing right now. And people, wherever they are right now, if they're peaceful, even if they came there because of their ancestors doing something wrong, it doesn't matter. They're there right now. And we just have to make the best of what we have right now, given where everybody is already here right now. Okay. And I don't think the Jews, for example, came to this land wrongfully. They had every right. It made a lot of sense to come here. But even if they did, even if the Jews who came to this land and created the country of Israel came here doing the most horrific things and doing it, getting this land by doing the most violent acts against the people there and wronging them, which they didn't. But even if they did, if that was the previous generation, I wouldn't be telling the people, the new generation, that they have to leave because the previous generation did something wrong. They are there now. They were born there. This is their life. And we will just deal with what the current situation is right now. That's the way I think. For example, Americans, okay? So when Jews came to this land and started the country Israel, they did it actually, they had every right. And they didn't commit all the crimes that the Americans did when they went to North America, okay? Like that. You want a genocide? The Jews didn't commit genocide when they created Israel, okay? But when the Europeans went to North America, they committed genocide. But we don't tell Americans that they need to leave that area, right? Because the sins of the son, the sins of the father is not the sins of the son. Those are different people. Those are completely different people. So my issue with the people in Gaza is not how they came here, whether they invaded or occupied, whether their ancestors came here invading or occupying. My issue is now, not them before, them now, a huge percentage, unfortunately, of the population is anti-Semitic and radical and violent, to the point that even though there are many of them who might not be like that, they're just so mixed with each other that it's really hard to deal with. So I just look at what the situation is right now rather than the history of it. Oh, somebody's saying, but the sins of Yair are the sins of Bibi. Not really, they're separate. Who's saying that? Amika is saying that. They're separate. Yeah, I know, Jono, that most Native Americans died from smallpox. I know that. That's how most of them died. But that doesn't mean that an act of the ones who that the many of them died from an actual intention of an act of genocide. So you're right, but that doesn't negate my point. Yeah, so knows too much is saying that's not the point. Too many believe that the lie that they're indigenous when they're not. You're right. You're right. I agree with you, but I'm making an additional point. Okay, so that's your point. I'm making a point on top of your point. My point is that who the fuck cares who's indigenous? I mean, even if let's say if they were indigenous, I would still be. Let's say, for example, the Jews were not indigenous to the land, and these people, the people in Gaza, were indigenous to the land. Okay, even if that was the case, the Jews are there right now. Okay, they're there right now. We're not going to kick them out. And in fact, I would be in favor of kicking out indigenous people from the land if they are radicals and not willing to live in peace with you, even if they're indigenous. Because whether they're indigenous or not is something about the past. I look at now. I look at the Israelis, they're building, they're prosperous, they're looking at the future, they want to live, they serve humanity, they serve themselves, they want peace, they destroy the threats not just to themselves but the threat to the world. So I'm in their favor. I'm on their team. I want to support them, even if they were. I mean, like the Europeans who came to North America, they were not indigenous to the land. I want them to stay there. So even if the Jews were not indigenous to the land, I would be on their side. It's them being indigenous or not is not, for me, is unimportant. I mean, it's important when it comes to you having, a cultural connection and an emotional tie to the land. Okay, that is good, and you could enjoy all of that. I'm not dismissing that. But when I'm saying when it comes to rights, when it comes to choosing what side you want to support, you being indigenous to the land or not is irrelevant. To me, that's a leftist mindset. Like, who the fuck cares where my ancestors were born? I'm fucking here now. Like, if Israelis picked a different place, I would be supporting them over there. You see, we got another super chat. And after this, I have to go get ready for my next stream. So, Itai, okay, Itai, okay. Say, I support Iran's territorial integrity. If he hadn't mentioned Iran, I would have supported what he wrote. Do the same for your Iranian Kurdish brothers. Do the same for your. Okay, so the thing is that I wouldn't support him even if he was just talking about the Kurdistan in Syria, Iraq, or Turkey. Okay, first of all, that is chaotic. That is, if I want to respect the border integrity of Iran, it would be hypocritical of me to then be against the border integrity of Turkey as a country. Like, no, I want to also, if I am asking people to respect the border integrity of Iran, I would also want to demonstrate that I also respect the border integrity of other countries. And also, imagine if you want to cut a piece of it of Turkey and make it Kurdistan. That would cause so much chaos everywhere. Like, no. Syria is a different Syria. First of all, Syria is just hard work to just keep it together. Okay. So I don't know what's going to happen to Syria. I think that nobody should actually try to push to tear it apart. But if it tears apart, it's not because anybody pushed it. It's just because it's just so hard to keep it together. I mean, it also seemed like that for Iraq for a while. But it's just better to just keep the borders as they are and find a different solution. And also, an independent Kurdistan cut out of Turkey, Iraq, and Syria is going to cause a lot of instability in Iran, because it will embolden the Kurdish separatists in Iran. And they will always have now a Kurdistan to go back to as their base of their operations, and then come in and do their military operations inside Iran. So no, that would be a bad idea. I'm not for that. There should be no Kurdistan as a country. There should never be any Kurdistan as a country. It's over. That plan is gone. And they already gave up their arms anyway, so it's not going to happen. Oh, we're getting another super chat. And after this, I'm leaving, okay? After this, I need to go for my personal channel. Knows too much is saying the truth matters, so refuting lies many believe is good. I agree. Okay, if you want to set the record straight just for the sake of, I understand. I agree with that. But however, I would like to also add that even if what they're saying is true, it doesn't matter. Right? Like so for example, if they're saying, like, we're indigenous, you're not indigenous, okay, well, that's historically inaccurate. So you want to correct that. And I appreciate you wanting to correct that. However, I also want to add that even if you were correct, it wouldn't make a difference regarding who's right, who should be here and who shouldn't. So correct them, and then also add that who the fuck cares who's indigenous? And then you continue by saying, but I agree they're evil for supporting Palestinianism and lying, not for not being indigenous. Okay, we agree that. That makes sense. I agree with you as well. I mean, imagine if they were indigenous to the land and they were jihadists and terrorists. We were like, hey, they're terrorists, they're genocidal, they want to kill the Jews. But hey, they have being indigenous going for them. Like, how is that a point in your favor? Whoopie-doo, you're indigenous to the land. Who the fuck cares? Why should I care? Like, how is that a virtue? Like, why is that something that I should be bragging about? Hey, the people who fucked, who made my existence possible, were living in the same place that I live now. Okay. Weird flex. All right, guys, I'm gonna go. Go to my personal channel again. Armin Navabi here. And come over there if you want to continue listening to me speaking. Again, completely different topic. My personal channel is not political. It's not about religion. We're talking about using AI and technology as the best ways to improve our lives. And today's stream is going to be about how to use AI to get a girlfriend. And again, I'm talking about human girlfriends. I'm not talking about AI girlfriends, okay? AI human girlfriends. And it's actually more wholesome than you think. If you come watch it, it's different from what the red pill community and the manosphere will tell you, okay? Oh, thank you. Reza is saying your love, Armin. Well, thank you so much, Reza. I appreciate that. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna go getting ready for that show. Bye. 4th show, and guys, I work really hard. I do 4 streams a day. 4 streams a day. This is my 3rd show. I'm going for 4th. Okay, you should be proud of me. Bye. No, wait. Like the stream. I'm Israel Chai. Javid Shah. Bye.